Oh no, you hear a gurgle in your French horn. What do? That's what I'm going to help you with right now. First, a gurgle in the French horn sounds like this. So if you hear that sound when you're practicing, don't worry, your horn is not broken. That just means there's water somewhere in the tubing of your French horn. Now, when you play a brass instrument, you have a little bit of saliva that ends up going into the instrument. You also have what is called condensation that forms inside the tubing of the French horn. Condensation also forms on a cold glass of water on a hot day. Perhaps you've seen that, where the outside of the glass gets wet and has little beads of water. It's the same concept on the French horn. We are blowing warm air from our bodies into a cold instrument, and so condensation forms on the inside of our instrument. In order to get rid of that water, we as horn players are unlike the rest of the brass family. We do not have a spit valve or water key. So we have to do some fancy twisting and turning to find that water and make sure it's out of our instrument. The first thing you're going to do is take your mouthpiece off. I usually put my mouthpiece in my pocket, or I'll set it on the ground or the chair next to me. Please do not put it on your music stand. That's a good way to ensure that your mouthpiece falls on the floor and gets a dent in it. So I'm putting it on the chair next to me. All right, so if we turn your instrument around so you can see the back side of it here, this is the lead pipe. A lot of the moisture and condensation is going to happen in the first tubing here that's closest to your mouth. So this tube wraps around down here. This is the area that is most likely to capture water. If you think about gravity, if there's water in here, it's going to sit right at the bottom curve of this tube. So when you are spinning around your horn to try to get the water out, we either want to have the water come out through the lead pipe, which is usually the easiest, or sometimes we'll need to have it come out of the bell. Most of the time, if your water is here, you're going to take your horn and spin it like this. So the water comes up, and if you saw a couple drops there, there was water that came out. So the water that was up here, gravity was doing its job, and it came along down the lead pipe and out the end. Now there might be times when water is caught in other parts of the tube of the French horn. One other area that can happen in is your valve slides. So you have a slide that is connected to each valve. You can get your water out that way. The best way to do it is push down whatever valve you want to remove the slide from. Pull the slide gently out, just like this, gently, and turn the slide upside down, get out any water that's in there. I don't have any in the slide right now. Then before you put the slide back in, push your valve down again. This creates a vacuum seal that will keep your valves or keep your slides in the right spot. There we go. Now, one thing that's very important, if you have a gurgle and you're practicing at home, you probably want to make sure you bring your French horn to the garbage can or the sink or take it outside before emptying your water. I'm willing to bet that your families at home do not want you to empty it out in the middle of the living room. When you're here at school, you are welcome to do it very close to where you're sitting. Just make sure you don't empty your water on your neighbor's shoe.